Hey, Dame. You played with Nick Batum to begin your NBA career. Obviously, he's a big part of their team and seems to always have an impact on the game. And we all saw the block the last time out. What is that value and effect he brings to a team, that impact that he has?
I think the biggest thing that's even more obvious, him being on the Clippers and with the France team is he plays winning basketball. I think he's not going to be the guy to go out there and score a bunch of points and get a bunch of rebounds and get a bunch of assists. Um, he's just going to do some of everything, and he's going to make timely plays. He's going to compete. Uh, and like you said, he's going to have a major impact on the game. And that's what he was when I first came in the league. And as you get older, you get sharper, and you find your way a little bit more. And I think that's very evident with Nico.
Thanks, Dame.
Next up, we'll go with Rafiq.
This is Rafiq with nothing but that sports talk. Damian Lillard, how you doing today?
Good. How you doing, man?
Doing all right. I just want to ask you, how does it feel to experience everything that you experienced throughout this Olympic run to the gold medal game?
I mean, it's been a great experience. Obviously, we put a completely different team together this season. Some of us were coming off the playoffs and still trying to get in shape, and also trying to become a unit instead of a bunch of talented individuals. And that process was fun as well. Just getting to know guys better as teammates and spending more of our time around them. And there was some growing pains. We lost the first two games. We lost our first game here. But I think, we showed our character as a group by, just being resilient, not listening to the noise and continuing to pursue what we came here for. And now we find ourselves, right here with a chance to do it. And, I think it's made this experience that much more fun.
And how much do you enjoy playing alongside guys like Kevin Durant, Bam Adebayo, and Draymond Green?
It's a lot of fun. You come into these situations and, we are all the number one option, the best player on our NBA teams. And then you come here and it's like, you don't got to have a huge night. You don't got to, try to go and force things to happen and make things happen. And, it could be a different guy every night. A couple of games ago against Iran, I got it going and, hit 7 threes. And then KD gets going. And then Jason Tatum gets going. And then last night, Book gets going. And KD was still going. But you just don't got to put, much pressure on yourself to try to just go, above and beyond. It's more just like contribute to what the team needs you to do. And just do whatever needs to happen for us to win games. I think that's been the most fun thing for me because, we coming off the bubble straight into another season and then straight into this. So, we need each other. And, it's been a good feeling to be a part of a team where you're in that situation where you can just, try to do whatever to win. And it's going to be a different guy each night.
Appreciate your insight. Looking forward to seeing Dame Time come into effect. Good luck at the game.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next up is Tim Reynolds.
Dame. I realize this might be kind of a silly question for you because you play like back-to-backs in January, like they're game sevens. But does today, and even I guess the quarterfinals and the semifinals too, do they feel like closeouts? Do they feel like elimination games, game 7? Like, does it have that same energy kind of the day before?
It's weird because it don't really have that feeling. I think in the NBA season, when you face an elimination, it's like, man, it's been 6 months of this grind. We've put all of our time into this, and it's like, if we don't win this game, everything that we put into this NBA season pretty much goes down the drain. And I think it's similar because an elimination game is an elimination game. You fall short of your goal. But I think here, because it hasn't been as long, it hasn't been as much time invested into it as far as like the season or the pool play. It just doesn't have that feel. Like, it still feels early.
And no matter what happens, tomorrow's the end of this team's run with Pop. Well, this team's run period, but especially your time with Pop. And I know what he means to the game and what, how you guys have all spoken about him many, many times over these last 5 weeks. But is there going to be one moment or one specific thing that you take away from your time with him, whether it was something he said, something he did, big or small? Like, I guess what's your Pop takeaway from all this?
My biggest takeaway is just seeing him on the daily. He's unapologetically him, whether that's him saying a random joke or him getting on guys and, yelling and challenging the team. Just him easy going. Every morning when I go into the breakfast room, he walk by, he pat me on the back, he say what's up, he asks how my kids and my family are. It's really special to have a guy who's that important to the game of basketball come into a room full of, star players, and the conversation is always about things that are bigger than just the game of basketball. He makes sure that we don't lose sight of, the most important things in life, instead of just him coming in saying, hey, only focus on winning the gold medal. This is end all be all. Don't think about nothing else. I think he almost does the opposite. Like, we got to stay focused and do what we got to do. And, we're here for, we represent a lot of people, but his message is, so much more broad and about so many other things outside of just basketball.
Thanks, Dave. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
We'll go now to Chris Sheridan.
Good morning from New York, Damian, and congratulations on making the gold medal game. It's been fun to watch. I wanted to take your temperature sort of on the what's going on with the Portland Trailblazers in the offseason. Adding Chauncey Billups as the coach and adding Cody Zeller and Tony Snell, Michael Beasley, Kenneth Faried, and Emmanuel Mudiay are on the Summer League team, and Norman Powell was re-signed, but Enes Kanter and Carmelo Anthony have left. What's kind of your level of satisfaction with what the Blazers have done in the offseason thus far?
Honestly, I haven't really dove too deep into it. I've just been focusing on here. It's a lot of things that are out of my control. When you go into free agency and things like this, you never know what's going to happen. You never know where guys are going to end up and why they go there. You just try to, have conversations and convince guys to, be a part of our team. And obviously, this go round, we didn't, we wasn't able to go out there and just get, some of the guys that we would have liked. And, you go down the list and you go through the guys that you like that are out there that haven't committed to another team or that was a part of your plans in free agency, and you get the ones that that want to be a part of what you're doing. And I think that's what we did.
Thank you.
Again, I'll remind everybody, the questions tonight are about USA basketball, the Olympic team, or the Olympics. Thank you for staying to those subjects.
All right,
Next,
Greg.
Dwayne Wankin.
Thank you. Damian, you mentioned Devin earlier, and that just brings my mind to when you vouched for him to be an all-star a couple years ago. And when you look at him now and maybe how he's grown and developed, what stands out to you, and maybe how happy are you for him that he went from that to now being considered, one of the better players, not only in the league, but that way he's played in the Olympics in the world?
I'm really happy for him. Obviously I'm a guy that I just watch basketball during the season. I just watch game after game after game on League Pass and things like that. So I saw a lot of him. He's one of my favorite players to watch. And sometimes we would even have side conversations because they had never played in the playoffs, and I would just try to encourage him, and to try to be something positive in his ear, because everybody on the outside is going to say y'all losing and all these things. And it's a bad feeling. So to see him continue to grow and come out of that few years of struggle and grow as a player, and his team grow as well, you got to be happy for a guy like that, for him stay down when all those things were happening. And then, you know, they have a great run in the bubble and they come back this season and put a really good team together. And, you know, he finds himself 2 games away from his first ring. So, you know, then he comes straight from that to here, you know, which also shows a lot of character. You know, he made a commitment and he stayed true to it regardless of what the outcome was. And, you know, he's come here and had a major impact on, you know, us being in this game tomorrow.
Quick follow, Damian. You've played in so many huge games, but how do you approach this? I know you were talking about Pop and him, how he views viewing the games, but like, how are you approaching this mentally? Because you've been in so many big games, but it's kind of like a game, like an elimination, but then it's not. I mean, I guess eliminating all that. How do you approach a game like this, or what's your approach going to be for a game like this?
I mean, I think what you said, you know, I've been in so many big games in my career that I think you got to lean on that experience, you know, and you just focus on the preparation. You know, today I got some good work in after we did our walkthrough in practice and got a good sweat in. Got in the cold tub and we'll get in my Normatec and, you know, hydrate, get some rest, get some sleep. It's an earlier game tomorrow. And that's the biggest thing, I think, for guys that have done it for a long time and have played in big games. It's all about the preparation so that you feel as good as you can possibly feel and you as clear as you can possibly be going into it, because everything else is taken care of. You know, this is what we do. And we going, you know, I'm going into another big game, but I'm going into it more well-equipped than I've ever been. You know, I'm going out there, you know, I look to my right and it's Kevin Durant, and I look to my left,
right,
Booker, and then I look to the other side of him and it's Drew Holiday, and the other side of him and it's Jason Tatum and Draymond Green and Bam Adebayo. You know what I'm saying? Zach LaVine. Right. You know, I take a lot of comfort in that. And knowing who I'm stepping out there with, and also knowing that, you know, we're prepared for it. And we've had the experience in these big games. And, you know, that's all you can do.
Thanks, Damon. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Next up is Mikey Dalmagala.
Hey, Dame. Mikey Dalmagala here of Inside Buzz. Was that first loss to France kind of meant to be? You guys got punched in the jaw, knocked down. Now you're back in Hungary, 4-0 since. Give me your thoughts on that.
I mean, I thought we, you know, I think we was up 7 in the fourth quarter of that game with, you know, maybe 3.5 minutes left. So we had control of the game. I think we just kind of eased off the gas. And, you know, they hit a 3 here, hit a 3 there. We miss a shot. They come down, they take the lead, you know, and we end up in a back and forth game to where, you know, if 1 or 2 bounces don't go your way, you end up with the result that we ended up with because, you know, we messed around with the game. But I think, you know, that was definitely a game that put our backs up against the wall. And it, you know, it made us lock in a little bit harder. It made our urgency go up a little bit harder. You know, and our minds and hearts got into it, I think, a little bit more after that. Like, all right, you know, it's on now. We gotta strap in and lock in and really, you know, do everything that we can to make sure that we take care of business. And I feel like, you know, that's been the mentality since that point. So I guess it was kind of a wake-up call.
Yeah. And, you know, Bam said it before, Lucas said it in the past, that it's easier to score in the NBA rather than, you know, international play. What are your thoughts on that as one of the greatest scorers ever?
I can see why. You know, there's a lot of the best scorers in the NBA, they score from 3 and they get to the rim and they get fouled. And in FIBA, you know, there's not as many foul calls. You know, you're going to get away with a lot more. It's more physical. And there's also no defense with 3 seconds. So the paint is usually more crowded. So, you know, forcing it into the paint is usually just playing into a crowd. The referees aren't going to give you the benefit of the doubt with a whistle. And, you know, it's hard to play in the crowd. You know, to score in the crowd, people that's just sitting in the paint, that's tough. So I think that definitely makes it harder to score. And when you're playing with FIBA rules as opposed to the NBA where a lot less contact is allowed, there's defense of 3 seconds. You know, it's so many things that are different that allow the scoring to be, you know, a little easier in the NBA.
All right, Dane, thanks. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Next up, we'll go to Andy.
Hi, Dame. Hope you're well. These have been pretty different Olympics given the lack of a large audience. How has the support for you guys felt, in part from far away, maybe through social media, messages, possibly video calls? How has that played a part this time? And has there perhaps been an even bigger role in the camaraderie that you guys have built as a team that you guys give each other in Tokyo?
I mean, I've been saying it the whole time we've been here that, it's as great of an experience that it's been, it hasn't been the full experience, because you don't get the crowd. You don't get that energy up, in that atmosphere that's created at a basketball game, especially basketball games where you got one country playing against another country, playing with all this pride, having people that they want to win and want to lose. You kind of miss out on that. Even in the opening ceremonies, we walk out in this big stadium and, there's so many people working and so many people that's, making this event happen, but there's no people in the crowd. And it's like, man, this would be so crazy if it was people, because this is the biggest stadium I've ever seen in my life, So I can only imagine what that experience would have been like. And even in the arena that we've been playing in, it's probably the biggest arena that I've played in, and it's no fans. So we've definitely had to create our own energy, cheering on the bench, making sure that we communicating loud and communicating often, and staying in each other's ear and keeping each other hyped up and in the moment. And, that's been a process as well. But I think, right now we're at that point where like we've started rolling, we cheering each other on, we creating our own energy and feeling good about what we're doing on the floor.
Thank you, Dame, and good luck tomorrow.
We've got time for 3 more questions. Go ahead, Josh Coyne.
Hi, Dame. Josh Coyne of Double Clutch UK. I spoke to Bam about this already, but beyond Pop, you're working with a large group of high-level coaches from day to day. Could you tell us about your experience working with the coaching staff?
It's been really cool. I've played my whole career for one coach, Terry Stotts, and those 9 years was a great 9 years. We had a great relationship. I thought we got along really well. We experienced a lot of success together, and that was a relationship that I cherished. I wanted it to last forever. That was my guy. So just being here and having a experience of being around other top level coaches like Pop, he's Pop. I don't need to go into that, but being around him and being coached by him, being around Steve Kerr, even Lloyd Pierce, who's been a head coach in the league, been around a long time. I met LP when I was 16 years old. Jay Wright, who's a Hall of Fame coach, a lot of success in Villanova and so many more, Ime Udoka. It's just been great, even side conversations with Jeff Van Gundy. I feel like I've had probably the most conversations with Jeff Van Gundy, just, on the side basket. We worked out today, me and him. But just to my point, having one coach for 9 years, I've never experienced, another coach's thoughts or how they do things or what they see and how they go about just being a coach. So to be here and to be around so many high level coaches and to see their way as opposed to what I've become accustomed to has been pretty cool.
And a quick follow-up on a different subject. Are there any Olympics-related lyrics on the new album, or was the production process already finished by the time you made it to Tokyo?
It was about done before I came here. It was in its finishing stages. So I mean, I didn't reference nothing, but it might be something coming from this, though. I can tell you that, and it's definitely worth looking out for.
Good luck.
Appreciate it.
We'll do 2 more questions. Brian Colbert.
Hey, Dane, what's going on, man? You spoke earlier about these huge moments that you've been in, but you're about to play for a gold medal in the Olympics in Tokyo. When do you get a chance to reflect on these moments? Is it before the game? Is it post game? Is it during the game? When do you have those moments where you're like, damn, I'm in the Olympics?
I think that's part of my problem. there's a lot of things I've done in my life, where it's like, it takes me so long to look back and I'm just like, damn, that actually happened, like I did that. And, I think I was in the league 5 or 6 years before I just really had a flashback, and I just thought about everything that took place the week of the draft. I had like 50 family members come out to New York. When I got my name called, I had like 50 family members up in the crowd, and I like looked up there and everybody was like losing their mind because we really come from the neighborhood. But I was just so like, man, I made it. I got to keep working hard. I'm trying to, not be in the G League. I was just so focused on the next thing and the next step that I didn't fully appreciate it in that moment. And from that point on, I just kept moving forward. And I finally looked back and was like, man, I actually got drafted to the NBA. I actually did this. I actually did that. So like right now, I'm just going into it like it's the gold medal game. Like this is what we came here for. We got to go out here and take care of business. And then I feel like, because it's something that everybody doesn't get the opportunity to do just because you make it to the NBA. I feel like when I get home, maybe as the summer goes by and I'm holding the gold medal, I might look back like, man, you look at the Dream Team and Dream Team 2 and 3 and all that, and then the Redeem Team and so many people that like accomplished this. To have that as well, I could definitely see myself looking back like, man, you need to kind of appreciate some of the things that you've been able to experience.
Thank you, Damon. Congrats on this moment, man. You deserve it.
Thank you.
Last question will go to Pago.
Hey, how you doing, Dame? What are your thoughts about Bam's improvement throughout the Olympics, and what does it mean to you to see both the men's and women's basketball teams supporting and encouraging each other throughout the Olympics?
I think Bam, from when we got here, he was on the same page that we was all on. Nobody wanted to really try to do too much. And, I think it made it harder for us because everybody was just making the one extra play that didn't need to be made. And then it was like, we got to be aggressive. And then we was doing the opposite, maybe a little bit too far in the opposite direction. But I think Bam has, just kind of found his place on this team, where it's like set screens, you roll. If nobody's there, you got to go dunk the ball, but you got to be able to make plays because we got shooters out there. And in FIBA, they like to hug the paint. So they're going to be collapsing on the ball. And, he's a good passer, so you got to see the next play. And I think he's figured that out because he's getting it out quicker and quicker. He's also realizing, how effective he can be on the glass defensively and offensively. Last game, he got us so many extra possessions, which was big in that game because we was down. And I think he's just figured out, like, not just who am I as a player, but like what player and what things can I do to be most effective on this team specifically. And he's figured it out pretty quick, so that's impressive for, a younger player, for him to be one of the younger players on the team. So I'm super, super proud of him for that. And what was the second question?
What does it mean to you to see that both the men's and women's basketball team are supporting each other throughout the Olympics?
It's real cool. That's been one of my favorite things about this experience and being in Tokyo, because we spend so much time around each other, just watching other games, watching other sports, playing cards, listening to music. We've been around each other a lot. We share a lounge and we up there pretty much every day together, from both teams. So us going to their games, we watch them, we come back to the hotel, everybody eat, we upstairs, chilling, and we talking about the games, we talking about our seasons and our careers and, just all these things. It's been cool to bond with the women's team and also be supporting them. So, the fact that we've both been cheering each other on and we kind of moving forward and progressing into this gold medal game, it's pretty cool.